Hey, g'day, Kristen Harper Co. Welcome to the 10-minute qualification call. Now, the purpose of this video explainer is to help set you up for success. So when you do get any inbound leads coming in, you can take people through this process very comfortably, be leading the conversation, bring their walls down. So typically we will always have the guards up if we're talking to a person who's trying to sell something. So it's about trying to pull those, bring those walls down and essentially take control of the call and just know by the end of the call if it's going to be a good fit or not. And by the end of your call, you should really know whether it's going to be the right fit. And if it's not, that's okay as well. It just frees you up to work on those ones that are going to be the right type of clients. And the more that you do this process, it does get a lot easier. So I'm just going to run you through exactly how I do it. So typically, if I either got on a phone or a video call, generally, I like to do this on video call because I can see somebody. You've got that, that face to face. You can see the body language. But outside of that, the phone call's fine as well. But I just like to get them on that quick video call as well because, again, it's you can pick up a lot from somebody's body language. So typically, be like, "G'day, my name's Kristen Harper. See that we've got a call booked in today, and my job is really simple. I'm just going to ask you 6 questions. It's going to take around about 10 minutes." And if by the end of the call I work out that I can't help you, then I will let you know politely and try to point you in the right direction to somebody that could help you. If I believe I can help you, then that next step will be a friendly interrogation. A discovery call. Does that work for you? Now, what I've just done there is I've told them exactly what's going to happen. I've told them it's only going to take 10 minutes. I've told them I'm going to ask 6 questions. And by saying words to them, if I can't help you, I'll point you in the right direction. It takes that pressure off. It's very subtle, but it does take that pressure off of you basically trying to sell to them. So it does bring those walls down. People are a lot more or less resistant to having a conversation with you. Now, from there, once I get them say, yes, great, cool. That first question, I say to them, why now? Why is this a now conversation? What's happening in your world to make this a now conversation? And let them answer the question. Now, typically what's happens through this process is through that one question, you'll probably ask another 3. So they might say, if I talk in terms of sales coaching, why is this now question? They could come back and say, oh, look, my sales team at the moment, they're not making a lot of sales. They're missing a lot of leads. We're not hitting the revenue. And, through that one question, okay, I bet that must be quite stressful. Can you talk to me a bit more about that? Where do what's actually happening in there? So you'll find that that one question will go to another 2 or 3, other questions. Now, through this process, I want you to be taking notes as well. Write down as much as you can. Now, the second question is I ask them is the gap. Where do you feel the gap is between where you are now and the results that you desire? And again, just going through that same process as that first one, get them to answer those questions and then keep delving deeper into that. And what you'll find after that second or that third question, you've already hit that 10 minutes. And typically what I do, they'll be a bit cheeky and say, look, we've already hit that 10 minutes that I promise. Would you like to reschedule that call for another time because we've got a few more to go through? And of course, they're always going to stay on the call with you. But you're just showing that you're respecting their time. And that's a big one because typically when we get on a call somebody, our time isn't being respected because it's like, oh, okay, how long is this call going to take and what else do you want? No, you want to be in control of it. And this process, keeps you in control. Now, that third question is what's broken? What do you think is specifically broken or missing or not working? Go through that same process. And then the question number 4 is what do you need? What do you think you specifically need help with? Now, I don't know if you haven't noticed that these 4 questions are very similar in nature, and they should come back with very similar answers. And this will give you a good indication if they're basically telling you the truth or not, and it's a good way to really drill down into those questions. And that last one is that number 4 is what do you need? What in your opinion do you think you need help with? In your opinion. So it's basically asking them what they think. So keep going down that track. Now, the 5th question is this, what's the priority? Is this by the sounds of it, this is something I think needs to be solved pretty quickly. However, what do you think? Is this, what's the priority for you? See what they come back with, because that could be, yes, like we need to get it solved the next couple of weeks or the next month or the next 6 months. So straight away, that Okay, cool. They're going to be in the pipeline in the next 6 months. I'll give them a call back in 4 months. So you want to work out where that urgency is. But first, with those first 4 questions, you should really find out what the urgency is. The priority thing is working out when it's going to happen. And the sixth question is financials. I'll typically go, so just for this piece of work, do you have a budget set aside for when you get work like this? So depending on the size of your business, it could be a small piece of work, but if you're dealing with a larger organization that has to go through a number of different decision makers, then the question is going to be a bit bigger. So if you're dealing with a business owner, hey, do you have a budget for this, John? And if you don't have a budget for it, what can we work out here? And see what they come back with, because they may go, no, we don't have a budget for it. However, we will get some money here. If it's a larger organization, they may say, yeah, we do have the budget in here, but it's got to go through a decision-making process. Okay, cool. So you do have a budget, but can you talk me through that decision-making process? Do you have the final sign-off on that? Or does that go to the board, or does that go to the wider team? And if they say no, that they don't have final sign-off, how do we basically ask the question? How do we get to influence that? How can we get in front of them and work that in? And typically the reason why I want to ask that is I want to find out what's key for the other decision makers in the organization. I want to find out what's important for them. So through those 6 questions, you should get a really good idea of where you sit with them. And typically through here, I'll go, if somebody I know doesn't have the money, has a number of other people that are involved, then typically I'll just walk away and say, hey, look, I don't think I'll be the right fit for you, but you might want to try these people. And typically it just shows a bit of goodwill because you're being very upfront about it. And then from here, what I do is, if I do feel that they're the right fit for me, I'll say to them, thank you very much for answering those questions. Just to make sure that I've heard you right, these are the top 3 challenges that you told me, and you walk them through those challenges. So all the stuff that you wrote down, walk them through that, make sure that you heard them right. And at the end of that, what you do is you say, is there anything else that I've missed? Or is there something else that a competitor has spoken to you about, or your incumbent, that I haven't asked you? And it's a very good indirect way to ask them if they are looking at somebody else, because typically when we buy products and services, we are going to go to the market. We are going to look at others. So you want to find that out in that first call. And then from there, if they say, yes, we've covered everything, then from there, the next step is to secure that next step. And what I mean by that, so you say to them, I think, I believe that we can help you. The next step will be doing a wee bit of a discovery, where we'll ask you a lot more detailed questions to get a really good understanding of what's going to be the best approach of how my products and services are going to help fix your problem. So we recommend doing this in person, where we can sit down with yourself and the other key people in your team. Failing that, if you've got a team around the country, we can do this by a video call. So before we get off the call, what's going to be a good date? And let's schedule this in now. So you always want to aim to secure that next step. That next step may be another phone call, and maybe a meeting with them, but don't walk away from that meeting without securing that next step. So I hope you got value out of it. My details are there. So if you want to learn more about this, then get in contact with me. And from there, I can help you or your team go through this process in a lot more detail. Enjoy. And the thing is with this process is have fun with it. If you do get on a call and you are sitting in front of somebody, have the body language up and breathe deep. Do as much preparation as you can before you go to the meeting. Find out about the person that you're talking with, about their industry. Put yourself in the best position to have a successful call. And then when you do get on the call, body language, take big, deep breaths, because this will calm you down. Typically, we are so nervous on the call that we go very quickly. We talk very quickly. So slow things down and role play it, and give yourself that comfort. Enjoy.